Um, so I've lived in my apartment for 18 months, and it was only last month so the apartment was delivered to me with um no hot water in the bathroom sink and minimal hot water coming out of the kitchen sink. Um, they only fixed it last month after multiple requests. Um, and so now I'm kind of I want to get some kind of I don't know what to call it, but like money back because, I didn't have hot water. This is obviously super illegal to not have a very basic utility. I guess like what would be the best approach for me to take to kind of get that money back? What do I do if they say no? Like what kind of steps does anyone advise I take?
Yeah, I can chime in here. So you said that they already fixed the problem. They already gave you hot water. It's fixed now.
Yeah, it's fixed now. It was January 20th, so I've had hot water for about a month.
Okay. I I know that you're able to do submit a thing called a 14-day rent reduction letter if you are lacking an essential service or lacking some kind of maintenance of your unit, which basically says, it's a declaration that says, I am not going to pay my full amount of rent. I am going to take like $200 off of rent because that is like what I believe, this water is worth that much because you're not upkeeping it. But that is, I'm pretty sure you can only do that like when the service itself like needs repairing. So the fact that it's already repaired now, because I tried to do the same thing for my electricity and I waited too long. Um, I would say if I mean if it's something that affected your entire building, which I assume it was, not just your own unit, you could rally your neighbors together. I'm sure they would want rent payment as well. And it's basically as simple as getting all your neighbors together saying, hey, this was illegal for a very long time. And we are not going to pay full rent for, how many ever months you guys agree on. Um, and we've seen that work before too as well. So does that make sense?
It does. I do think that it was just in my unit though, because it's hard to explain what was wrong with it without uh having a visual. But so when I turned the hot water tap on, nothing came out, and it was because the hot water was completely off, like under the sink, which I could turn on, but then it wouldn't turn off. So I didn't really have like reasonable access to it, if that makes sense. Like I would have to crawl under my sink, turn on the hot water, wash my hands, turn it off under the sink, or leave it running 24/7, which I obviously don't want to do.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think a 14-day notice works in that time unless maybe Michelle, who's a lawyer, wants to tell me I'm wrong, but
No, I mean, I think that either the rent withholding to try to affect the change or the rent withholding due to the diminution in value I mean, those are really your choices. You can do the 14-day letter. And in fact, I mean, hot water is pretty important. I think you could probably even do a shorter than a 14-day letter. I really like to wash my dishes in very hot water, so I'm very sympathetic to this concern. um, so, you could have done a 72-hour letter and then withheld, possibly even withheld, like this would be I would think like a relatively minor repair, like under $500 or half of rent. And you could have gotten a plumber in to fix it. And it's a lot, you have to get like a real plumber and save your receipts and all of that stuff. You can pay your rent to the plumber. None of these things I'm saying right now are going to help you though, because it's already been fixed. I mean, there would be some plaintiffs side landlords who might take the case You know, you could either, I mean, you could make a demand and just tell the landlord what you're going to do, that you're going to withhold rent now because, look, you've got this fixed, but I was inconvenienced for such a long time. You know, and then you can kind of see whether the landlord is going to act on it. Like was said before, you know, the landlord might, you know, acknowledge like, oh, I did a wrong thing. I left it not be fixed for a while. So I'm, you know, I'm going to agree with her. I'm going to let her do that rent deduction. Or, you know, some rent is better than no rent, and they may have, you know, a bunch of other tenants who are not paying any rent, so they're not going to worry about you having withheld, you know, $100 a month for 4 months or something. So, and I'd say that there might be some plaintiff side attorneys who might do it. I mean, you could also file a small claims case. In addition, rent-intervention might have some documents that would help. Rent-intervention is more like geared towards the 14 hours or 14-day letters. There's also a website called Illinois Legal Aid Online. I'll put that website in the chat for a moment, and that really helps you produce court documents. Like if you're good with computers, you know, if you try, you know, just negotiating with your landlord, you know, same way that you would with Macy's. If you bought a dress and took it home and the zipper broke the next day, you might take it back and say, I want my money back, whatever. You know, try that same kind of negotiating with your landlord. You could file a small claims case.
Okay.
Carrie, does that help answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, it does, because I've just kind of been like, I don't even know what to do. Like if I type up a like list of grievances and a request for reimbursement, like does that do anything? But I guess that like yes is pretty much the answer that I've gotten, that it at least starts the negotiation process and we can, you know, get somewhere from there.